Hi, Ange. I was going to start with team news. Any fresh injury concerns, and in particular, Danso, Kulusevski, and Richarlison. Their status, please.
No, nothing in terms of new outside those ones. Everyone else is fine training. Obviously, Roder's the other long-term one. Richie's training. Probably not tomorrow, but chance for the weekend if he keeps training with the first team as he has been. It's getting better. Decky and Kevin probably progressing well. Probably a week or two with them. Again, haven't joined in team training yet, but progressing well.
How do you find the balance between obviously the league position, but you face a rival in Chelsea that's quite a special fixture for the supporters maybe, but also kind of one eye on Southampton game at the weekend, and then the big one against Frankfurt next week?
Yeah, I think you just got to sort of, like you said, there's an important game tomorrow night. I don't think you kind of can go past that it's an important fixture. It's an important fixture for the fans. It's an important fixture for our season. But even if you're sort of focusing on the other games, I think it's always better that you try and gain some momentum in terms of form and performance, leading into big games. So tomorrow's that opportunity.
And just a general one, it's now been announced that semi-automated offside is coming in from next weekend, the 12th of April. What do you make of, first, the technology and also the timing?
I don't have a massive sort of view on it. I guess if it happens quicker than what it currently does and is more accurate, because I've never felt really comfortable with those lines, the accuracy of those lines, then I guess it's a positive. I'd still like the assistants to make the decision so we don't have to wait around, but apparently it's an improvement in terms of timing and accuracy, so hopefully it works well. Thanks, Paul.
Christian Romero's not played a lot of football in recent weeks and months, so I wondered how you reacted to him playing 180 minutes in 4 days with Argentina. Is that helpful for the rest of your season, or would you rather he wasn't quite so exerted?
I was delighted, mate, if he can get through 2 games with his national team. I think it's great for us. As you rightly mentioned, he hasn't played a lot of football, and footballers need to play. So rather than him sort of sitting around for 2 weeks, he needed games. I think you could see that even with the performances he had with us before. He, especially the Fulham game, by the 70th minute, he was pretty much cooked in terms of his physical fitness. So again, through 2 games, international level, 2 tough games, I think is a positive.
When you played Chelsea last time, they were being touted as possible title candidates, and results haven't really been that way for them since. But at home, they seem pretty strong. What have you made of their form and performances recently?
Yeah, as you said, they're a talented squad, a good manager. I still think they've had a positive season in terms of what they're trying to build. They've got some real talent, particularly in that attacking third. They obviously got hit by injuries as well. They've got some key players who have been missing, which affects all clubs, and that affected their consistency of results. But as you said, at their place, they're still a tough team to beat, so a good challenge for us.
You mentioned it being an important game for fans. Spurs fans have been scarred for 30, nearly 40 years with this fixture, never really gone their way. I wondered, with fan base being scarred, disappointed regularly, even pessimistic going into this one, do you notice any different air when you have casual conversations in the canteen here, in the corridors? Is there anything different in the build-up when you're going up against Chelsea here?
Try and separate what you just said there. We're not talking about the fans. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the next challenge, which is obviously Chelsea, and we understand the significance of the fixture. We understand, as I said, they're a good side. They're particularly at home. They're a tough team to beat. So we're going to have to perform at our best to overcome them. But that's a great challenge for us. As I said, we need to sort of try and build some momentum into the rest of the season and finish in a positive way. And going to Chelsea, we know we're going to have to play well to beat them. Thanks.
Pass down to Rob, please.
Hi, Ange. How beneficial has this past week been for you on the training pitch? I mean, you've virtually had all the players available ahead of a really tough run of fixtures.
Yeah, no, it's been a good sort of international break. A bit unusual not having a game on the weekend, which kind of worked well for us because the majority of our international players played. So we were able to give them a sort of couple of days to recover post their internationals instead of just flying straight back, which I think was good for them. The guys here worked really hard, but again, we could give them some time off within that context. And the whole sort of group got together at the beginning of the week, and I think they're all in a good place mentally and physically. I think it was positive in that guys who probably needed to play some football did so. Guys who maybe needed a bit of a breather also got that opportunity.
How's Lucas feeling? Because he was in line to start his first game for Sweden.
Yeah, disappointing for him. He sort of copped the virus pretty much first day. He got there and knocked him about. They held him sort of around for hoping to play in the second game, but in the end they just thought because he hadn't trained at all, it was just better off here. So he came back to us, probably had a day off, and then has trained fully since. So he's okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, mate.
Pastor James, please.
Hi, Ange. I was watching the Optus interview you did the other day. You were talking about you felt in hindsight you'd have taken a different approach to the start of the season, and I just wanted to get you to elaborate on that a little bit. What did you mean in terms of pre-season training or team selection early on? Or
I thought it was pretty clear, mate. Maybe just listen to the interview again. I don't think there's anything else I need to expand on. Like I said, you kind of review things along the way. We'll probably review things properly at the end of the year, but my sense is that, we obviously had a lot of players who missed a lot of our pre-season, and we kind of went into the season probably a little bit underdone in terms of some of our key players, and I think we paid a price for that. And, I think, this pre-season might look a little bit different because we won't have as many international commitments as last year, but like I said in the interview, I think it's just stuff we'll review and try and adjust so that sort of pre-season, which I think is important for every sort of club, but particularly for us from a physical perspective, we try and get right this year.
and during the international break, Mauricio Pochettino has been talking again about wanting to manage Spurs one day in the future. I just wonder what you made of him going public with that at a time when you're under a bit of pressure here, and also you're going into a defining part of the season.
It doesn't. Mauricio, if he wants to come back one day, I hope it happens for him. We all have dreams and aspirations. If that's what he wants, then that's. I don't think he was. You're suggesting that he's trying to put pressure on me.
Well, the timing of it felt to me a bit disrespectful to you. That was all.
Well, I don't feel disrespected. I think if you ask Mauricio that question directly, I think you'd get a pretty clear answer as to what his intent was. But again, nothing for me to sort of be consumed with. More focused on sort of making sure we try and win tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Jay, behind you, please. Thank you.
Hi, Ange. I just want to ask you about Christian Romero's future. He's got 2 years left on his contract in the summer. I think there are a few links during the international break with other teams. So, how do you see that?
He's got a game tomorrow night, mate. That's what we're focused on.
And then I think this could be the first league game since Chelsea are home in December that Mickey and Christian could start together. How much has their absence impacted the team this season? Yeah,
like any key players who missed games, it's great to have them back, and hopefully they're able to contribute to us tomorrow night.
You said after the Fulham game that Bissouma can sometimes let the game drift him by. Just wonder, how do you address that with him before the end of the season?
Same way as every other player, mate. We just work with the players, give them the feedback, and give them the opportunity to work their way back to being the best they can be.
Finish with George, please.
And earlier in the season, you had some very good away results and wins. Over the recent months, been some poor performances and results, and there have been a couple of flashpoints at times. Yourself with the fans at Bournemouth and some of the players at Alkmaar. How kind of important is tomorrow, obviously, not just to get a result, but to kind of try and unify the fans ahead of what feels like a really important 2-week period for the club with the Europa League quarter-final?
Yeah, I just don't think you can get caught up with that. Our job, our role is, and our responsibility is to try and put in a strong performance tomorrow to win. That's it. You can't get consumed by, too many things that really are out of your control. They're out of our control, how other people feel. What we can do is, like I said, perform against a tough opponent tomorrow and try and gain some momentum leading into an important part of the season for us. So that's where kind of our focus and the players' focus has been.
I guess with tomorrow, is it a good dress rehearsal for Frankfurt in 2 weeks? Because it's a difficult away game. It's going to be loud. Players are going to be under pressure, and it's a chance to come through that. And they'll obviously have to do the same in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different because, I think European competition and sort of knockout competition, it tends to be a little bit more cagey. But like you said, there's some elements there of playing away from home, against a sort of loud fan base and against a quality opponent where, certainly, if we can come through that test, then that gives you confidence about what's ahead.
And I guess just finally, from your own point of view, James asked about Pochettino's quotes. There's been a lot of talk about your own future during the last 2.5 weeks. How do you kind of deal with that as a manager and as a human being, knowing that kind of cycle is being spoken about?
I don't deal with it, mate. I mean, like I said, I know what my responsibilities are. I'm sure if the club decide to go in a different direction, there's some outstanding candidates out there for it. So, and you know what? Maybe somebody will think, Ange Postecoglou's not a bad coach. Maybe we'll take a punt on him. So, mate, it doesn't rock my world. It doesn't consume me. I'm here. I'm passionate about what we're doing. I was brought in to change the way the club plays, rejuvenate the squad, bring success. I'm focused on that, and that's what I'll keep doing.